Hello and welcome fans and friends, my name is 8-Bit Ben, and today we're going to do an actual game review. I've done game reviews in the past, but this is going to be my first proper one, although it's going to be kind of more of a verdict on a older game. And that game today is going to be Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. As you can see here, I have a physical copy of it. I've showed it in my previous video. I spent a good week or so after I bought it, and I've beaten the main story, but not all the side quests, but to be honest with you, I only buy games for the main story, not the side quests. And if I finish the main story, that's basically the game finished for me. Pokemon XD is one of those games I've been searching for at least a couple of years now, ever since I started collecting for the GameCube. I love all the Pokemon games, maybe not so much the spin-offs, but I like the main series games. And even though this game is a spin-off, this is all we really got on the GameCube besides Colosseum. We didn't get that many Pokemon games other than Pokemon Channel, and so in a sense this is kind of like the main series Pokemon games is what it was supposed to be like, and this was a sequel to Pokemon Colosseum, and I'm aware that it actually recycled a lot of levels from Colosseum, but I want to give the game the review it deserves on its own, so not going to compare it to any other Pokemon game. Okay, so with all that said and out of the way, if we looked at this game as a standalone game, then from what I've experienced in it, it's very repetitive. It has a very high dependency on double battles with NPCs, and this is how ridiculous it gets. Sometimes you're in the cipher buildings, there'll be a couple of steps and bam, NPC, couple more steps, bam, an NPC, and a lot of them have almost full parties of Pokemon. These battles can actually take about 5 to 10 minutes at a time to beat, depending on your strategy, and it gets really annoying after a while. Like, you need to have a good balance of NPCs, of course, and exploration, so that it keeps the player interested. You don't want to have to drag them down with a constant feed of NPCs. And what NPCs are, in case you don't know, are the characters in the game. The people that will pick a Pokemon battle with you, basically. The exploration part of the game is quite fun, but there's not an awful lot of it in comparison to the battles, and so you really want to explore more, but there isn't that much to do other than battling in Pokemon in general. I spent at least 28 hours and 58 minutes playing this game, possibly more than that because I had to reset a couple of times. There's sometimes a lot of backtracking depending on where you lose. If you lose a battle, which can happen, it can take you at least 10 or so minutes to get back to where you were, depending on where you obviously failed. Pokemon XD is different to, it's similar to Colosseum, but it's different to the main series Pokemon games, and like, everything's more 3D, and we've only had this sort of thing in the recent Pokemon games like Sun and Moon, where the environments are in 3D, but it is still mostly quite flat environment. So if you love the Pokemon games, it might be worth a try, but at the moment this game retails at about £55, which is the lowest I could find it for. That's what I paid for it. It's a very expensive game. It might be more worthwhile actually emulating it, because it's not really doing anyone harm apart from resellers, and well, you don't have to worry about resellers because they're just people that bought the game. But the point is, probably more worthwhile actually emulating this game if you ever have any plans on playing it. But if you're looking to just get experience that's fun overall, I don't recommend this game. It's going to be more worthwhile actually watching someone play the game, and that if they actually cut out the battles, you're going to be spending a lot less time having to watch this game and watching the constant battles, and that actually makes me think of another problem. And that other problem is the repetitive music that is played during most of the battles in the game. Same song over and over and over again. You need more variety when it comes to battle music. I know Pokemon doesn't always have a huge variety of battle music, but it needs more than just 3 different variations of the same song. Music is essential to games like these because it does start to get annoying not only having to repeat the same sort of practice over and over again, which is the Pokemon battles, but also having to listen to the same background music all the time. And it's a shame because the game does have some very good music, some good versions of previous music from other games in the Pokemon series. Like, I remember especially in Gaetion City, it has some really good music going on in the background once you're exploring, not so much battles, again, as I was saying there now. So now that we've talked about the background music and the battles side of the game, which is a huge part of it, really, maybe not so much the music, but the main part of the game for me, of course, was the story. And the story was quite substandard even for like a Pokemon game. It could have been a little bit better, leading you to go from one place to another really until you get to the final battle with get his name, but around not spoil it as well. Basically, it's not going to win any BAFTA awards, the story, but the locations that you end up visiting are quite interesting, quite different from any of the other Pokemon games. These are very similar locations to those in Pokemon Colosseum, but if you haven't played Colosseum, these are all going to be quite unique to you. Again, with it being a sequel to a game and then recycling those stages, it's not 100% original. So for the past 5 minutes you've been hearing me complain about this game, and it's because it has more problems and good things about it to really kind of talk about. I'm a huge fan of the Pokemon series, but this definitely the bad apple of the tree, I would say. It's probably one of the worst Pokemon games in the series. Thankfully this isn't part of the main series or the main canon. Gameplay wise, it just really isn't worth your time. You're better off playing whatever games you have left over in your collection. It wasn't really worth the money that I had to spend on it, and probably wasn't really worth the time that I end up spending on it as well. I'm just quite disappointed overall with me waiting so long to get this game that it ended up being so it felt like a major drag, basically. That's all I really have to say about it. To be honest with you, if I had to give it a rating, I'd probably give it a very sour 7 out of 10. Whether or not this game had a lot of time to get developed or not, there's still a couple of solutions as to how it could have been a lot more fun. They could have adjusted the game a little bit to more fun and memorable. Basically what they could have done is not focus on double battles, because double battles take forever to actually finish. This is what took such a huge toll on my enjoyment on the game. They also add more music to battles, as I was saying before. I think the game would have been a lot better. It didn't focus so heavily on the huge amount of NPCs that it contained. If this had gotten as much attention as the main series Pokemon games, this potentially could have been so much better. Story-wise, gameplay-wise, music-wise, everything could have been a lot better in this game. Now, I'm trying not to crap on everyone's childhood that actually did end up playing this game when they were younger. I think it's always been bad. I have to be honest. It has always been bad because it didn't have a good balance of everything. It didn't have everything it needed to be good. Like every other Pokemon game has. If your entire experience with this game was actually good, that is fantastic. But if you were to actually play it nowadays, if this game were to come out nowadays, it just feels, quite dated. But I have to say, the game aesthetically looks really good. Like the Pokemon models, even the environment, it all looks pretty decent. But gameplay wise, just not really is worth your time playing. And I don't want to ramble on more. I'm going to end the video here, guys. This has been a really long video, but I hope you agree or enjoyed, or if you don't, if you want to leave your comments below, please do, because I never get anything on here. And as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have subscribed, don't forget to ring that bell down below. I've seen a lot of you haven't been getting my videos in your feed. So thanks very much, guys, and bye.